Our big focus this Sunday, the Vibrant Gujarat Summit kick-started this morning in Gandhinagar. Prime Minister Modi is expected to address investors at about noon. This year's summit, the seventh till now, is also the most high voltage, with US Secretary of State John Kerry leading the biggest ever American business delegation. This year's edition is being attended by United Nations General Secretary Ban Ki-moon and world leaders from at least 20 countries. Reliance Industries kick-started the mega investment festival, promising to invest 1 lakh crore rupees in the state over the next 1 year. The Aditya Birla Group, headed by Mangalam Birla, also promised investments of over 20,000 crore rupees in the coming months. According to Birla, Gujarat made investors feel welcomed, and it was no wonder the state topped the economic freedom list.
President World Bank, Mr. Jim Yong Kim.
All of you have laid the foundation in evolving Gujarat as business state. I am sure you will continue to invest more in Gujarat. Friends, this summit is not for collaboration of economic and business exchange alone, but it covers cultural exchange and people-to-people exchange.
As Reliance, we are determined to give back to Gujarat more and more. We started our journey of Make in India, of setting up global-scale manufacturing facilities in textiles, synthetic fibers, petrochemicals, rubbers, and petroleum refining. We will invest over 100,000 crores in the next 12 to 18 months in Gujarat in contributing to the Make in India and the Digital India initiatives. As a part of our investments in retail and providing world-class digital services, we will partner and enable thousands of small businesses and Gujarati entrepreneurs. These partnerships will create virtuous cycle of prosperity for millions of Gujaratis.
Given the state's friendly business environment, we have also chosen to set up our solar business and our retail businesses here in Gujarat. We will be continuing to grow our businesses here. On the anvil, our brownfield expansions at our cement plant in Sevagram, the VSF plants at Vilayat and Bharuch, and along with these expansions in our chemicals and metal plants here. Our investments in these plants will be close to rupees 20,000 crores as we see it now. Let me conclude that as happy investors, we will continue to raise our stake and equity in Gujarat.
Top corporate leaders are announcing big-ticket investments in Gujarat over the next 1 year. Investments made by RIL chief Mukesh Ambani and Mangalam Birla. We're going to be hearing an address from Prime Minister Narendra Modi in about an hour's time. This is a big investment festival that is taking place in Gandhinagar today. This year's 3-day event is being touted as the biggest ever. Top global leaders, including UN General Secretary Ban Ki-moon and US Secretary of State John Kerry, are attending the business summit.
A resurgent India is in greater reach today because of the aspirations expressed by the Indian people last year, when they united overwhelmingly around a demand for change. And that demand was a demand for economic growth and development leading to jobs, and for improvements in the quality of life of the Indian people, the two platforms that this Prime Minister campaigned on: development and jobs and quality of life. With that mandate has also come the hard work of governance. It's the hard work of a journey of a stronger India, of creating 1 million jobs a month for India's young people, of shoring up India's infrastructure from bridges and roads to education and healthcare in a way that leads to growth in jobs in the structures and sectors of the economy like manufacturing and tourism. I think over the past year, this government has gotten off to a very, very good start. Investors are hopeful that the success that the Prime Minister demonstrated here in Gujarat can lead to similar success for India as a whole. What they're looking for is greater clarity in the rules of the road. They want transparency in policy decisions, consistency and predictability. All of these remain mission critical for businessmen to decide where to put their money and for investors to have confidence in where to place their bets. My company, MasterCard, is placing its bets on India. In the last 1 year, we have invested over $250 million in ensuring that India becomes a key part of our global technology. More than 10% of our global workforce is now in India. And so we are placing our bets on India. But there are a number of areas that would benefit from increased clarity, and you all know them, but retroactive taxation, GST, intellectual property, land and labor laws, all these come to mind. Steps like the increased FDI limits in defense and insurance, along with the progress on trade facilitation, have all been very well received by investors. But each of these are going to need continuous attention over the next year, and 2 and 3. Increased FDIs and revised land laws are going to need legislative approval, and I believe that ordinances are outstanding because they demonstrate the determination of this government and this Prime Minister to make a change. But investors are anxious, will always be anxious, to wait for those approvals to come through to ensure that they have the predictability and consistency of policy that they need. The US IBC is very keen that India and the United States strike a bilateral investment treaty at the earliest possible. It will help in the predictability and consistency that business people need. And by the way, there's work to be done on the US side as well. The 114th Congress has just assembled in the United States. They need to make sure that as they address the issue of immigration, a very big issue in the United States, it is critical they do so without creating unintended consequences for India and Indian companies.
We're getting you live reports from the Vibrant Gujarat Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to address investors in about an hour's time. Apart from Ban Ki-moon and John Kerry, several ministers from Europe, Japan, Australia and Canada, and over 50 CEOs of top Indian as well as international companies are participating in the summit. This will conclude on the 13th of January. 8 countries, including the US, Canada and Japan, have for the first time become partner nations for the summit. This is being touted as one of the biggest investor summits to take place in India till date.